Hey everybody, Nancy here from American Pet Professionals. Happy Tuesday and welcome back to our fall season of digging into the pet industry. I am so excited that you guys are here. If you are watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, thank you so much for watching. And if you're listening to a future podcast episode, thank you so much for listening. So today we have on APP member Billy Hatzichristos of Native Ceuticals. Welcome, Billy. How are you?
Good. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, I'm so happy to have you on our show and talk all things Native Ceuticals. But before we do that, I want to dig in and start from the beginning. What did you do prior to working in the pet industry?
I was in the corporate world. So like many people, when they turn a certain age, they start to think about the future and what the legacy is actually going to look like. And I was a corporate procurement person. I worked for the New York Mets and Bloomberg and a couple of other big companies. And then I hit 50 and I made a transition to entrepreneurship, which I've always been an entrepreneur, but now I'm actually applying that with Native Ceuticals.
Wow, that's some history. That's really cool. So working with the Mets, that's
Yeah,
I know they have Bark in the Park, but there's not much pet industry stuff going on other than that, right?
correct. That's right. That's right.
That's really funny. So tell me how you decided to get into Native Ceuticals.
So I looked at a lot of different businesses, and they had to have three key criteria for me. One, it had to help people and pets. So, but Native Ceuticals is helping people every single day, typically with pain, anxiety, sleep issues, gut problems. But it even extends past that to dementia, diabetes, Alzheimer's, psoriasis, eczema. Really, anything that someone's taking a medication for that's created in a lab, we have a plant-based solution for them. The
Okay.
second criteria was it had to be in an emerging market. CBD's been around for a long time, but it was garbage. A lot of garbage is still out there. A lot of additives and preservatives. And then three, I had to have fun. I meet so many people,
Yeah.
different issues, and I have people come to me crying with an issue. We consult with them, give them a product, and then they come back a couple of weeks later crying because we solved their ailments.
That's really great. So why don't we
Yeah.
tell everybody what Native Ceuticals is? I love that you had those criterias.
Yeah, so we are a boutique hemp-based company that makes things from the hemp plant. We extract compounds, some you might have heard of. One is CBD, everyone's heard of that.
Yep.
But people don't realize there's also CBN, there's CBG, there's CBC, and each one of those compounds, by the way, there's probably 95 others that scientists are still discovering, but every single one of those compounds address something in the body, some imbalance that we have in our body. And there's something called this endocannabinoid system. Our pets have them, humans have them. That's a great takeaway. I want everyone to Google endocannabinoid, and everything that is hemp related is backed by science. This is not someone in their basement. It's backed by science. Huge institutions like Stony Brook, Weill Cornell, Columbia, they all have departments that's studying this magic plant called hemp.
Okay, so I have heard of that, and I'm pretty well versed with CBD, and I am going to ask you about the other letters in a few moments. But can
Sure.
you tell people the difference between cannabis and hemp? Because I know that there has been confusion, especially among pet parents, that they think they're giving their animals pot, which they're not.
Yeah, so cannabis is sort of the overarching term for the industry.
Mhm.
If you think of a breakaway from cannabis, there's marijuana and then its cousin, hemp. They're virtually the same plant. They both offer medicinal value, but hemp does not have any psychoactive properties to it. That's the easy way to describe hemp versus marijuana. So if you're getting anything hemp based, you're never going to get high. Of course, if you have marijuana, there's different levels of highness, if you will, and
Right.
that's called potency. But we only play on the hemp side. Our tagline is "Get healthy, not high." Um, so that's really the difference there.
Right, right. I love that. Okay. So I see, like you were mentioning, that you have different products that are CBG, like George, CBN, like Nancy. Can you explain the difference between those and CBD?
Sure. So these compounds that we extract out of the hemp plant, they have again different medicinal value. So CBD is known as a natural anti-inflammatory and a pain reducer. It has other great benefits. CBN, Lauren, my manager, calls it CB Night Night because CBN is great for people who have issues with sleep.
Mm.
And it ranges anything from, I have trouble falling asleep to I have trouble staying asleep. And there's different products for that. CBG is fantastic for focus, mood enhancement, brain function, and gut support as well. So IBS, Crohn's, colitis,
Hmm.
depression, menopause, all of these
Wow.
different ailments. CBG is a phenomenal compound out of that plant to help people with those ailments as well.
Wow. So basically, we should all be on CBG.
You know what? We do have customers. We actually make custom tinctures. We have customers who need a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but we only offer up after a good consultation to really understand what the issues are. Same thing with our pets. Some people say they don't sleep, but then we find out that they're having trouble at work or with their relationship. So
Mm.
they really have anxiety. Once we address the anxiety, then they start sleeping. So it's really important to not just walk into a store and buy something off the shelf. You really need to talk to a CBD expert or a hemp expert before you buy.
Wow. And so when did you guys first launch with your all of your products?
So we are about 4 years in now.
Okay.
We are mostly on the East Coast, but we're expanding to Texas and the West Coast. We even have a location in Alaska.
Oh, wow.
I am predominantly based here on Long Island, but we do service the entire country.
Okay, very nice. And
Yeah.
what makes your products different than other companies out there? I know you have something called seed to shelf. Can you explain that?
Yeah, seed to shelf is super important. What that means is that we actually control every part of our manufacturing process, from planting the seed in our organic farm to growing the plant to cultivating, processing, making all of our formulations, bottling, labeling,
Wow.
and then shipping to our own stores. So no one touches any part of our process. We never use additives and preservatives. And really, what consumers need to be aware of is make sure the formulation is clean
Mm.
from any other additives, any other preservatives, flavorings. There's some exceptions with different, like MCT oil. You'll see that a
Yeah.
lot. That's just like a carrier oil. It's fine. But when you start seeing 10, 15, 20 ingredients, stay away from that product. A lot of the big box retailers will sell mass produced CBD products. You never know where that hemp is coming from. It could be imported, it could
Yeah.
be sitting on a ship for weeks. So, clean formula is absolutely critical. And that's one of our key differentiators.
For people listening or watching, one of the things that you can think of in comparison to that is like think about like a really good olive oil. It comes from one place. It's not sourced from multiple different countries. And I dare you guys to go and read your olive oil label after this because you'll see like all these countries on there. So then you don't really know where it was. So it's an important point. I've been reading labels since the 90s for pet products. So the more ingredients, sometimes it can be okay depending on what the product is, but usually once that product gets really, really long, it's like I just put it right back up on the shelf when
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
ingredients are
Yep.
too long. It's like you want the cleanest, purest thing. So I love that. So what made you want to be that very detailed about, seed to shelf and having that control over your product?
Well, I mean, we want to be successful, but we also want to make sure that no pet or human gets harmed. We want to make sure that
Yeah.
nothing's going to interact with anyone's medications. So clean formula, seed to shelf. In the food world, you hear of farm to table. It's a
Yeah.
similar concept. It's
Hmm.
just super important. There's a lot of garbage out there. We want people to really understand that if they're going to try CBD, CBN, CBG, just make sure it's the highest quality that you can. And by the way, we're not the most expensive. We fairly priced. We're somewhere in the middle. And also get suspect when you see something for $19.99 on TV or something that's hundreds of dollars. It does not need to be that at all. So again, educated consumer is really, really good. And then we always say, just give us a call. We'll have a talk. Hit us up online on our website, longislandhemp.com, and we'll just have a conversation, see if it's right for you.
I love that. I love that you're so open and like happy to talk to people. It's refreshing because you can't always get to the person, especially you're the founder of the company, right? So you can't always get to that person. So when did you start offering the pet product line? Was it at the same time as the human line, or did that come after?
Straight out of the gate. So
Okay.
again, based on science, we know that even pets have this endocannabinoid system. That's endocannabinoid. Super important to look up. And we knew that we're helping humans who also have that system. So why not make a pet product? There's so many pets out there with separation anxiety, puppies who are just nervous about being in a potentially new environment, rescues, older dogs. They can't tell us that they're suffering from pain and inflammation. I have a little 13-year-old Pappy Poo, half Papillon, half Poodle, and he takes his CBD twice a day, and he's acting like a puppy. Sleeps better at night. Digestion is better. He's just all the way well-rounded. And listen, if we can extend the life of a pet, we will. I had a customer, personal friend, dog was super sick. The vet said you should put him down. He's like, look, we're not ready. Put him on a heavy dose of CBD, and we got another week out of that pet. Started eating again, was a little more energetic, but then the systems just started to fail. But to get another week from their loved pet for so many years, those are success stories for us.
Yeah, the inflammation and the joint pain is a big one. And my dog is 10 years old now, so it might be something I'll add to his regimen because he is on a few different natural supplements that do well. But I didn't even honestly think about the CBD until you just said it. He's been on it. Listen, he has tried like every kind of CBD when it first came out. So it's quite interesting. But now that he's older, I definitely think that could be something that could be added to his daily routine.
Yeah, and we see, 10's a good place to start for older dogs, but we see a lot of puppies, a lot of professionals who go to work all day and they put their pet in a cage.
Yeah.
The CBD just calms them down and it just makes them a happier animal. So it's a wonderful thing. And, there are some instances where we have pets who don't like to fly. They don't like to go to the groomer. They don't like to go to the vet. They don't like car rides. They don't like the neighbor's dog. Whatever the situation, we have pet bites that are great for short-term anxiety. Our tinctures are always best for that natural health, and the longer term, call it chronic anxiety. So it's really pet bites. It's tinctures. We even offer a hotspot eliminator, which has CBD in it, which is fantastic for when people sometimes think it's allergies, but it's actually anxiety. So there's really a product for every issue with our pets as well as our humans.
Yeah, it's really a fantastic product. In 2019, we hosted a show for our last NYC Retails and Sales Pet Expo. We didn't know it was going to be the last one, but that thing COVID came along. But we did it all about, it was natural pet products, but the primary was about CBD. It was about educating people. And I find it really interesting because back then it was such a hard thing to even sell. Right. It was a challenge for a lot of CBD companies to sell, even in certain states, like it was banned because, you couldn't do credit card processing. It was really bizarre because they thought it was cannabis and it was hemp and they didn't understand the difference, I guess. It's gotten a lot better, but have you faced any of those challenges since you launched?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. And banking is a huge one. Since the Farm Bill in 2018 was passed, that's when you saw a lot of these CBD companies just pop up, and they were selling, is probably still selling in gas stations and pharmacies.
Yeah.
The issue with that model is that, people hear CBD and they think it's a miracle thing. It is. I mean, if you have the education behind it, use the word education, it's absolutely huge. People would go into gas stations and buy something, but how do I know how to dose it? How do I know what's
Yeah.
in it? How do I know if it's going to interact with something? So they were not being successful, and everyone said, "Oh, CBD, CBD, CBD." It's not. It doesn't work. It absolutely works. You got to be educated. You need that consultation. General health, height, weight has a lot to do with actually what you should take and how
Yeah.
you should dose it. So education, to use your word, is absolutely paramount. Same with our pets. You
Yeah.
can't take, you can't take a 7-pound dog and a 70-pound dog and expect to have the same result at the same dose. So
Yeah.
it's super important for folks to be educated and talk to folks like me and my manager Lauren. Yeah, it's super important.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, after that, I was at a human CBD show, which is like a few weeks later, and I got a lot of products, like full-size products, and my brother was suffering from back pain. I said, just try it. You got nothing to lose. And of course, I went down the rabbit hole and researched out of the bag of products that I got, which was the best one. And I gave him the best one. I said, just try it. And he actually said, I can't believe I was skeptical, but that really helped my back. It was like a temporary thing that he was having issues with, but it was really interesting. And I was like, okay, so I know it's really a fantastic product. What is the most common feedback that you get from your pet parent customers?
It's just an overwhelming thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I should have found this earlier. I wish I knew you guys were around earlier. How do I reorder? When
Yeah.
it's time to reorder, and I always say the same thing. We are again a small business. Just call me, and we will go ahead and we offer home delivery. Of course, we're going to ship. You could either order online; it gets shipped directly to you. So we make every effort to get what you need when you need it.
I love that. And so have there
Yeah.
been any requests from your customers for any kind of new or different pet products in addition to what you carry?
Great question. No, because we have a full lineup. I will tell you that we had a CBD shampoo,
Hmm.
but just people don't really want. They have their favorite shampoos, or they
Yeah.
send them to the groomer. So we're going to be discontinuing that. But the tincture, the pet bites, and our hotspot eliminator are absolutely what customers are looking for. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything new that you can talk about that might be coming out, or do you have anything in the works?
Well, I could tell you on the human side, we're testing other cannabinoids.
Okay.
That is super exciting. We just launched a tincture that it's actually called Balance, and if you're taking your vitamins in the morning or you take something at night, adding this Balance tincture to that repertoire is fantastic. Again, general health and wellness, heart health, uh, any inflammation or any general pain, it will absolutely help. So Balance tincture is killing it, and we're sold, by the way, not just online. On the pet side, we're in groomers, we're in veterinarians. So if you don't see a product at your groomer, your vet, say, hey, you should really carry Native Ceuticals pet products, and just have them reach out to us on the website. On the human side, we are the preferred supplier, hemp supplier, to what you are probably seeing now pop up, which are called recreational or adult use dispensaries
Hmm.
that predominantly sell marijuana. But again, not everybody who goes in there wants to get high. They just want to
Right.
get healthy. So our products are in a lot of the dispensaries that you see around town. So really our products are everywhere. If they're not, tell your retailer to call us, and we'll make sure to get them to them.
I love that. And so, to your point about veterinarians, I know a lot of veterinarians that recommend it. I personally have worked with a lot of holistic veterinarians. Have there already been roadblocks or anything with vets bringing the product into their veterinarian facilities, or are they now, more along to use it?
Yeah, no. I mean, the more progressive vets know about it, and they know that it helps.
Yeah.
What's interesting is I had one of them say, "Oh, you know what? When people ask me for, because their customers are saying, hey, I want you to sell the CBD."
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, I just sent them down to Petco or that other place down the
Yeah.
block. But then he stepped back. He said, well, why am I referring all my customers to
Right.
somebody else when I could be making that money, and it's a much better product
Yeah.
right in my shop. I could put my own private label on it, so we
Mhm.
make it and we put their name on it.
Yeah.
So, but there's really not much resistance.
That's
It's
good.
with vets, the busier ones, the issue for me is finding their time
Yeah.
to talk to them, and
Yeah.
but once we do, they say let's do it.
Yeah, they are all very, very busy. So that is not untrue for anybody that's trying to talk to a vet. So,
Yeah.
they're out there taking care of all the animals. So we thank them for that. But I was always just curious because, I feel like years ago there was a little bit of a resistance, but I feel like it's more mainstream now and more people are aware of it. And that's really great that you're working with that. What about retail stores? Are you in like mom and pop retail stores or anything like that?
So we have a partnership with a store called Devotion. They're currently in the process of relocating. We had two physical stores, and we are also in the process of relocating.
Okay.
As you can imagine, rents here on Long Island have
Yeah,
skyrocketed.
it's crazy.
One of our landlords tried to double our rent. We said it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So we are currently on the hunt for retail space, and we will reopen in Suffolk County. We'll be in Nassau County. At some point, we will have other brick and mortar, but don't forget, we are in Suffolk, Nassau, Queens, and Brooklyn through our dispensary partners.
Right.
So again, if go to your local dispensary, if that's where you want to get your pet products, tell them to contact Native Ceuticals if they already don't have the lineup,
Okay.
and we'll make sure to get it to them. But you can find us then again all up and down the East Coast. Find the Native Ceuticals, and they'll have the pet products as well.
All right, that's great. Good to know. So, what have you found the most challenging besides high rent prices when it comes to
Uh,
running a business?
it's the stigma. There's still
Mm,
a stigma from consumers. They
yeah,
think that as we started this conversation, they don't really understand that hemp is different than
yeah,
marijuana.
right.
Uh, Hemp is never going to get you high, and people really need to understand that.
Yeah,
It's quickly changing. There's a lot more educated people. We do educational seminars, we do community events, and we're educating the public. So even conversations like this for the folks watching and listening, um, there's a difference that you're not
yeah,
going to get high with hemp. So
yeah.
and again, everyone, I keep saying this, but anyone can reach out to us via longislandhemp.com, and we will go ahead and have a conversation
So,
to continue to educate.
all right, sounds great. Do you have
Here's
any? Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
here's one exciting thing that's actually a very different, and I think we're the only one. I'm pretty sure we're the only one in the country, but we are starting partnerships with assisted living facilities and senior home
Wow.
facilities because the older generation, they just do not want to get high, but they understand, even they're more educated than some of the youth. So that's really interesting, and it's a key differentiator that we are now helping our senior community right where they live. So there's going to be some press around that coming soon.
Very cool. And I know you have been recognized by some of the dignitaries of New York State for ethical practices and transparency, which is a very huge thing when it comes to pet parents. And how did that come about? I know you've gotten some other accolades as well.
Yeah, so the regulatory body is called the OCM, or the Office of Cannabis Management. A while back, I met a couple of people who are in that office, senior people, and they learned about the company. It was a call it a community event with both marijuana and hemp companies in there. I got talking to one of the senior leaders, and we just hit it off. He understands that our seed to shelf is completely different than anybody else, and he's like, "Look, you need to get more involved in this space." So, word spread, and that relationship has really paid its dividends. And we've even been recognized by what's called Lux Life magazine. There's an organization here on Long Island called the HIA Long Island.
Mhm.
We were Rookie of the Year last
Nice.
year. Hundreds and hundreds of companies
Yeah.
applied for that, and we won that. We were a finalist for the LI Choice Awards, and there's a big brand out there, hundreds of millions of dollars, called Curaleaf. We were actually in contention with a company like Curaleaf would really
Nice.
tell us something about Native Ceuticals. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, congratulations. Keep going, because those accolades are important. A lot of people are like, I don't know. I'm like, it's so important because it shows, especially the transparency part. I think for pet parents now that are way more educated than they were, many years ago on what products they're looking for, on the questions to ask. I think it's really important to have that and let anybody, know this is how we do it is really important. And I love that you do that with your business. So, do you have any advice for someone who is thinking about bringing a pet product to the marketplace?
Sure. I mean, happy to talk through any product. We're happy to be a distributor for those products, but there are some interesting products that I've seen that are currently under pilot, and there's some pretty cool stuff. Now, what I see is a lot of people want to dress up their pets. So, if there's a clothing line for pets, perhaps that's something new. And we all know that people take better care of their pets than they do themselves. Just like men, we take better care of our cars than we do our bodies. But so I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to see some new products at an upcoming pet show for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And any last piece of advice for new business owners coming into the pet industry? Like any struggles that you would say, I would do this and not that?
I mean, I would find a really solid distribution partners like Native Ceuticals. We are actually we didn't talk about it, but we actually do product fulfillment and warehousing for some folks in this industry and outside the industry. You really want a solid distribution partner to get your product out there as quickly as possible. And then I always say, if it's something that you've invented, try and get a patent. The patent sometimes is worth more than the actual product.
100%.
But I'd love to talk with any entrepreneur that's out there. Again, just reach out to me, Billy, from longislandhemp.com, and love to have those conversations.
That's awesome. All right, Billy. Well, listen, thank you so much for being here and for explaining to everybody what it is that you do and the differences and what's available. It was when I was doing research for this, I was like, CBG or CBN. I'm like, all right, I got to ask him about that. So I'm glad that you cleared that up. But let everybody know once again where they can connect with you.
So get me at BillH@nativeceuticals.com, or simply go to longislandhemp.com. That's just a landing page. A lot of people say, oh, how do you spell Ceuticals?
Yeah.
Forget it. longislandhemp.com. It's the same company, Native Ceuticals. Happy to talk to anybody who has any questions or wants to collaborate.
All right, sounds good. And we'll put those links and that information in the comment section after the live. But thank you so much for being here. And I know I'll see you in person soon. And for everybody else, I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday. Thanks again, Billy. I'll talk to you soon.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.